Namaskar viewers. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic that is concerned with your security. As you know that recently a Maoist attack took place in Chhattisgarh, Dantewala districts. Basically, those Maoist Naxalists attack on a force that is DRZ, District Reserve Guard, which is basically a trained force to fight Naxalists in Chhattisgarh. So in this video, we'll try to understand what is the Naxalism and what is the history of this Naxalism and various other aspects related with this. So let's get into the video without wasting time. So first, we will try to understand what is this Naxalism. So you have been heard the like left-wing extremism, Maoist attack, and Naxalism. So basically, these terms are the same. Left-wing extremism is a category under which these Maoist attack and your Naxalism falls. So in this video, we will try to understand what is the left-wing extremism. So to understand the left-wing extremism, you have to know a communist ideology. So what is this communist ideology? So basically, the communist ideology believes in the equitable share of the people in the society. It means they want to establish such a state in which everybody have the equal capacity, equal rights over the property of the states, and there will be no private property as such, and the people of that state will control the overall property, and they will rule in, on their own levels. So this is the communist ideology. So as you know that there are different followers of any ideology. In the same way, the Karl Marx was the initiator of this communist ideology. After that, this ideology was taken by the various its supporter in the different perspective. So, and gradually the intensity of the ideology get increased, because at the time of Karl Marx, he wanted to overthrow the government. Yes, he wanted revolution and to establish uh, a government where the people's right will be respected and the common property will be shared. But there will be a few personalities like Lenin and Mao Zedong in China. You know that China and Russia both are the communist country, so they believe in the communist ideology. So there was a personality in China, there was a Mao Zedong in 1960s. What happens? He, implemented this ideology in China successfully. What it is, he established communist government in China, and he overthrew the democratic government, and he do the all the properties of public, and there was just all the property or the common share of the public. So he established a successful communist government in the China, and as you know that this communist ideology believes in the you know promotes poor's right in this sense, but it is a very difficult and what you can say extreme ideology, and Mao Zedong follows it, and according to Mao Zedong, we have to establish communist government on the barrel of the guns. It means he wanted a violent revolution and wanted to violent attack on the democratic government in anywhere in the world. And this same process was adopted by him in his own country, and he used a large scale, violent revolution to establish communist government in China. So this time there was also a section of population in our country living in the Bengal and various other Odisha, Jharkhand. There are the various that are very backward districts in our country. So those are very backward country, and in 1950s, 60s, after the independence, they were very much exploited by the British and zamindars. In that case, it was very troublesome for them to survive. They were not, the poor farmers in those backward districts were even not able to reap even their subservience. They were just anyhow aching out. So it was difficult for them to survive. And over and upon the torture of the British and zamindars was also a major challenge. And due to these reasons, and even they were very backward, they have no opportunity. They are, even the government's access was also very low there. The administration was corrupt, and so these things were, things making the situation very complex. And this time, the personality like your Chao Majumdar, Kanu Santhal, and Jangal Santhal, these were the personalities who were very much influenced with Mao Zedong in China, and they also wanted to implement the communist ideology and the ideology of Maoist in their own districts. So there was a district Naxalbari in West Bengal. So these personalities, three Lal Mazumdar, they were belonging from this Naxalbari districts in your West Bengal. So they also wanted to establish communist government there, and so in Naxalbari districts. So once what happens that this operation was continued, Zamindar were torturing the farmers. So this Mazumdar launched his operation, and he started to overthrowing the means, adopted violent means to establish the things. So from that, it was the event of 1967. So from then, this Naxalbari, from this word Naxalbari, so your Naxalist attack came into the picture. So that's why from 1967, this, you know, they are having a, orientation in the left-wing ideology, means they want to establish communist government. In that case, they are pursuing their, goal to establish the communist government, but they are not able to do so because government, Indian government looks them as a, terrorist groups, and they are categorized as a terrorist group under UAPA, Prevention of Unlawful Act. So from that 1967, this Naxalist attack is taking place. So the founder was Majumdar, as you know. So this time, these Maoist group, which was founded by Majumdar in 1967, attack on the Dantewada districts on a DRZ, District Reserve Guard, and 5 security personnel were killed. So it was very dramatic and traumatic situation. But this was the overall history of this. So now we try to understand. So you should also know that before the onset of the monsoon, the moist attacks frequently, and the intensity of their attacks in invasion over the security personnel increased. So they adopt TCOG. TCOG means tactical counter offensive campaign. So this is a tactics followed by them during the onset of the monsoon, because what happens on the onset of monsoon, the visibility is low, and there is shrubs and grasses, so there is not better situation in which the security personnel can probe those Naxalists and can kill them. So in that situation, these Naxalists and Maoists find it better to pursue their goals and to kill and attack on the persons in the onset of the monsoon. So this is this thing. And although Naxalist situation, the problem of left-wing extremism or Naxalist attack or Maoist attack was very much grim before, but if we see the data, that the situation is continuously reducing and in the intensity. So if we look at that from the level of 2010, the attack has been reduced by 77%, and as well as the death tolls also reduced almost 90% in 2010. If you look in 2000, there was 100,000 people were killed in this Maoist attack, but in 2022 only 100 people were killed. So in this way, there is a continuous reduction, and the government's effort is going on in this direction, and the government is also finding its way and so resolving the problem of Naxalists, but they also exist today. And if you look at the states like Jharkhand, Andhra Pradesh and Bihar, these are the states which have now largely overcome this issue. Yes, okay. And because earlier these Andhra Pradesh, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh. This belt was called as a red corridor. But this time the intensity of this Naxal attack is basically and mostly concentrated in Chhattisgarh and Bastar districts and other hinterland districts of the Chhattisgarh. So the problem is still exists and pose a major challenge, security challenge over us. So now we will try to understand which steps, measures taken by the government. So you know that it is a very, as Manmohan Singh also said, that nationalism is a very gravest threat for our security. In the same row, the government is also pursuing their own interest and trying to subdue these unwanted forces. They are creating Bastariya Battalion. This is part of CRPF, which is specially created in Chhattisgarh for the combating those Naxalists. So Bastariya Battalion, a special battalion, and erection of mobile towers. They are creating towers so that they can create a better communication networking system there and can easily detect those Naxalists in the Chhattisgarh. And along with that, their security uh, related expenditure, they're also doing this, and special infrastructure scheme they are bringing so that they can get infrastructure like road and transportation system, so they can easily access the 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 spots of those nationalists where they are residing and those other things. So this was the overall the things about nationalism and left-wing extremism and about the attack in Chhattisgarh in the Dantewada districts. So I think you'll find this video hopeful and sorry, this video as a process and helpful for you and informative. Very well, thank you to all. Very well, thank you.